Can someone please explain to me why the hell I'm doing one of these episodes when a game hasn't been played in over a month? The players get to rest, why can't the drama? God damn it, I'm gonna look like such a view whore. Tonight, on a very special episode of Days of Our Steelers, a silly season of antics and disappointments leads to a barrage of accusations and finger-pointing. When we previously left off, the diva was under an intense microscope as a supposed knee injury was revealed to be something far more sinister. AB walked out of practice after an apparent argument and didn't return until game day. He had abandoned the team. Despite this, AB still felt entitled to play in that Sunday's game against the Bungles. Even as Brown refused to take a coach-mandated MRI, the diva came in expecting nothing to occur. He was wrong. Mike Tomlin, angered at his wide receiver's defiance, benched him for his transgressions. If he were to play, it may have caused a mutiny within the locker room, so we're told. It was with this experience boost that the diva would evolve into the Cancer. To complete his transition, he left the Week 17 game at halftime. It's at this point where months of pent-up emotions and drama finally boiled over and came to a head. A season which some players in the organization likened the team to the Kardashians gave us enough material for ibuprofen to be completely ineffective. Even when the Black and Gold Brigade was out of the playoffs, they were still the center of attention. It turned into an affair of he said, she said shit-slinging that would fit in a high school cafeteria. AB's side of the story paints Captain Fatfuck as a big meanie McPoopy Pants. He states that the leader of men had constantly criticized and berated Antonio in practice and meetings, the cutting blow being at that faithful practice. Ben wanted AB off the field for running the wrong route yet again. Thus, the diva exploded and walked out. If Ben were to be believed, he wasn't around for Mount Diva's eruption. Part of me feels that pieces of both stories are correct in some way. Freed from the shackles of the team, the Cancer continued his relentless trek of burning the countless bridges of Pittsburgh. I would say call him, but he hasn't returned any messages from his teammates Tomlin or even Art Rooney II. Hell, AB had his agent call Mike Tomlin to say he was going to play against the Bengals. That practice was the final straw for the Cancer. He firmly believes that standards have been slipping throughout the organization, despite him being the one that openly walked out on the Steelers to begin with. With the Black and Gold Brigade attempting to hold him accountable for once, Antonio Brown now begins to flirt with his newest public fling, the San Francisco 49ers. Like the Oregon Trail, AB desires to go west with him, liking photoshops of him in a Niners uniform and cohorting with enemies like George Kittle and Jerry Rice. In fact, the latter states that the Cancer is absolutely dying to be playing in Santa Clara next season. AB allegedly asked for a trade just after the season to further his West Coast agenda, despite Mike Tomlin stating that no request was ever made. The true damning testament of Brown comes digitally. He unfollowed the Steelers on Twitter and Instagram. In millennial terms, these moves have massive implications. Even with his cryptic and rather hypocritical tweets as of late, this is important to note. His new advisors are the likes of Chad Johnson and James Harrison. Harrison, a known critic of Mike Tomlin's coaching, went back to the well to blame him for playing down to the locker room. We're still waiting on that epic interview with AB teased during Tomlin's press conference. Regardless, it's time for the Cancer to go back on the attack. Like him burning defensive backs on deep routes, he burned his supposed critics for his recent behavior. Ryan Clark stated that he knew back when he was a young player that a monster would eventually be unleashed. AB lashes back and calls him an Uncle Tom, because criticizing his character makes you the equivalent of a race traitor. His former offensive coordinator Bruce Arians states more of the same. This wasn't the same AB he had coached. The man had changed. Yes, he did, Bruce. He is now criticizing you publicly on Twitter as well. His former teammate Emmanuel Sanders came to his defense as digital jabs and 280 character blows flung in one of the more embarrassing internet slap fights of our times. In a testament to awful timing, AB participated in a vanity singing show called The Masked Singer. He was the first contestant eliminated. This calls for a reward, purchasing a $2,000 goat ring. At this rate, it may be the only custom ring he will earn. It's with all of this that Art Rooney II made a rather damning statement. He will find it hard to envision AB returning to the team next season. Antonio Brown may have played his final snap with the Black and Gold Brigade. As much as it would suck to lose his talent, they have to do it. The man isn't going to change, and I fear it's only going to get worse as time passes and his skills fade. It will be hard to do since his contract situation is rather rough, but remember, the Cancer has to be cleared. Even as you gave AB his final paycheck, they can't let this stand. It will be a pipe dream, though. The Steelers stuck to their traditions by doing next to nothing about the drama-laden mess of a season they had. There were inklings of warnings for next year, but only a few token sacrifices were made. The first being Joey Porter, whom should have been axed after his incident with a bouncer at a Southside bar a few years ago. Even then, he wasn't fired, his contract conveniently expired. Even as some linebackers defend him, I don't know why he was even brought in to begin with. The second casualty, running backs coach James Saxon? Why did they let go of him? Was it his fault that he lost his best weapon and they barely ran the ball? I thought he did an alright job, but I guess they wanted a different look as his contract also expired. The final loss being offensive line coach Mike Munchak. He leaves for a similar offensive line coach in Denver after his contract expired as well. This one isn't drama related. His daughter and grandchild live in the region and he wanted to spend more time with them. It sucks, but I understand why he did it. Otherwise, no changes. Danny Smith and Keith Butler are still around because why not? Artie II states that it's nonsense to call the Steelers out of control, even though warning signs have been glaring for the past 3 or 4 seasons. The Black and Gold Brigade have reached a crossroads in their franchise. A major decision must be made involving the future of Antonio Brown. Do they trade him and salvage what they can, potentially draining performance on the field? Or do they keep him and risk creating a massive chasm in their locker room? Sure, there are some Steelers stating they want him back in the fold, but I fear there are many that don't. Especially with the stunts he's pulled over the year. Either way, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. The next few months will be critical to the future of the franchise. Like AB pining for the Golden Gate Bridge, so are the days of our Steelers. Now can you please stop with this shit?